Let's look into next one, Eastern and Western ethical thoughts, which is most favorite topic of many people. Eastern doors, Western windows. Any one of you read that book, Eastern Doors, Western Windows? No, you may not aware of that. Okay. So here typically we are discussing about um, how the cultural influences are. So what is Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy? Why we need to discuss? First of all, let us discuss about that. Why we need to discuss about this Eastern and Western ethical thoughts. Obviously, when it comes to a workplace nowadays, this everything is globalized. That's what this is need of our, wherein the student or the learner, whoever may be, they have to know what is the Eastern philosophy and what is the Western philosophy. Here in precise, this figure is representing the wheel of life in the Eastern part and the Western part, right? So here in the Eastern part, we believe on chakras which exist in body. When it comes to yoga, meditation and all, some people might have heard this. So here nirvana signifies the end of the eternal cycle or reincarnation, that means rebirth. Here in the West, everything must be accounted for within the lifetime. They don't speak about afterlife. Majority of the Western philosophy, they do believe on how the life during when we have that breath within us or life within us. That is what the independent, that individual will be calculated on these factors depending on the finance, work, achievement, learning, fun, health, environment, family and friends. So this is mandatory when it comes to Eastern world. Always they do thought about the afterlife work, that whatever the action, majority of the thought will leads to afterlife or eternal cycle of their or spirituality of their thoughts. In detail we can see here how Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy is. So Eastern philosophy, we all know Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, Confucius. Do anybody know about Confucius quotes and all? Quotations he gives. Yes or no?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So at least after the class, do search for the Confucius quotes by Confucius. 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 He's a person. So his always his quotes is unless we get into the topic in detail, we don't understand. The delivers or quotes by Vivekananda or Abdul Kalam, we won't understand it in detail. Okay, so just experience it. So Eastern philosophy is Buddhism, Hinduism, Islamic, Jain, such a way all these or comes into Eastern philosophy. Western philosophy is very simple, that is Christianity in more, but they are very rational, scientific, and they are always believe on the logical schools. Unless there would be a logic, they don't believe on magic. But majority of the Eastern philosophy is on magics, right? So what are the main principles of East and West? When it comes to Eastern main philosophies, life is a journey towards the eternal realities that are beyond the realities which is surrounded by us. So here in East, circular view of the universe based on the perception of eternal recurrence. And in the East, they always believe on the inner world dependent. That means within us, the believe on soul, we can say in this way, believe on soul, inner dependent world. But if we see in the West, when East is cosmologic unity, but West is feeling oneself as an element of divine. That means individual itself is leading to divinity. So life is a service here for West people. They always believe God, money, business, etc. There is no matter of God is there, but He is there for support us, not to judge us. Okay. So West people always believe on outer world dependent. So like earlier diagram told us about finance, how much learning, what is the family and friends that. So these are the measurable things. Those people believe on these concept, which is outer world dependence. So West people are always self-dedication to their goals. Always they will strive to reach their goals. They will have bigger dreams. They will have life, vision, happiness, personal success. So always that self-dedication, everything that I is matter about the success of the people or the elements of the people. But here when it comes to Eastern part, I feel self liberation. That means me concept. When it comes to me concept, that is about representing whole world or my family. My this is the way Eastern people believe on, and at the same time, Eastern people believe on behavioral ethics. Behavioral ethics. Okay, so this is about uh, major principles of East and West. If we look into living principles, so Eastern people always believe on virtue, Western people believe on ethics. So let us see the difference between the virtue and ethics. As I said before, that Confucius quotes and all. I would like to take the quote of one from Confucius. What he told is to be able under all circumstances to practice five things which constitutes perfect virtue. These five things are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, kindness. Hope you understood. Is that easy to understand for you or not? Am I clear? So to be able to understand all circumstances, to practice, five things constitute perfect virtue. So here to practice perfect virtue, five things are leading us. That is what he is. Perfect practice whatever we say. So what are those five things? Gravity, which is having by earth. Generosity of soul. That means upon physical body we have some inner soul, that is generosity, that what your soul is feeling. Sincerity and earnestness, that means capability of earning something, and kindness. These five factors will make you to complete or to practice something or to make you to adjust to the circumstances. Did you understood till then what is the virtue and all? If you understood, then I will jump to Western philosophy. Yes or no? Dilemma. Okay, if you don't understand this concept also, it doesn't matter, no, it's okay because it is too depth into. Just I will brief the Western part. In Western part, if you see some quotes of the or beliefs of some uh, eminent personalities. So what they said, I am going to take Leo Tolstoy quotes. One can live magnificently in the world if one knows how to work and how to love. So if you see earlier one, his beliefs as Eastern person, his beliefs on gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness and kindness. These are the five factors leads to the living principles. Here for Western scientist or first for Western philosopher, Leo is believing on one can live magnificently, that means very happily in the world if he knows how to work and how to love. It is very precise. If we are able to understand, but if you look into the beliefs of both people, can you able to differentiate the thoughts between the East and West now? Can you able to differentiate the thoughts between East and West now?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So this is about living principles. Next, let us look into the me concept. How me concept will be in East and West. So in me concept in the Eastern world, that means Eastern side, eternal reality of the universal truth is self-liberation through getting rid of the false. That is the me concept. That is discovering the truth is me concept in the Eastern world. But in the Western side, me is here and now. The true me is in every human being is a part of divinity that need to be apparent. That means here discovering the truth itself is me in the Eastern concept. But here Western philosophy doesn't have any cognizable thing when it comes to me concept. Me is a human being. Me is a human being when it comes to Eastern part that represents about the divinity or eternal reality. Eastern people believes the me concept as the eternal reality. And relationship with religion, that's always integration when it comes to Eastern part, opposition when it comes to Western part. So I don't want to dispute here. In Eastern part, holistic approach would be there. Holistic approach means uh, everything. Search for when it comes to search for absolute truth. Holistic approach supports all the events in the universe are interconnected. Precisely, we can say it as a magic in somewhere, but that is the truth Eastern people always believes in. Searching inside yourself, that means me concept or I concept, whatever call it as, searching inside yourself by becoming a part of the universe through meditation and right living. Such a way you can find yourself. That is the truth they believe. That means Eastern people believe on it. When you see in the Western people more focused on the individual events and the role of the person, that's they don't abide with the strict relationships and all. So individual independently the person who you are, what you are, that will be evaluated. That they believe as a truth. Searching outside yourself through research and analysis. If you are successful, how much successful, what is your success? If in Eastern part, being an Indian, if we are being success, firstly we will share our success to our family members. First of all, we will bring them all further to before us for our success, right? But if you see the Western culture, success is for the individual. Many of the Western cultures and all. So that is what the Western culture is with. Beliefs and values are the same like this. Just for your awareness, what could be the things that we can discuss? These are the many things. It may extend the class. So just I will brief whichever is necessary. Okay. So search for the truth, fundamental research and all as common like me concept, whatever we discussed. So here search for truth and fundamental research is the truth is given is does not to have to be proved. So I know the truth. If there is a dilemma whether I can prove the truth or not, Eastern thought will support that is the truth I believe, I need not prove the truth. But when it comes to truth in Western thoughts, that truth needs to be proved, whatever it may be. So this is the philosophic base for this culture of fundamental research. This in Eastern sides is making weaker when it comes to research. So these Western people always believe that truth need to be proved. That's what their fundamental research is being very stronger. And future of East and West. So future, that means for Eastern people, future is determined by the past and the deeds of today. That is what the people believe on the future, how Eastern people believe on future. When you see the belief of future by Western people, your future is unknown, it is predetermined by God, and is not much influenced by your deeds. This is what the Western philosophy. When it comes to justice, justice is also spiritual practice. We know that if you go to high court and all, we always promise on Bhagavad Gita. We, in sense, as citizens, we have to start our session with a prayer, and we have to start the session by having vote on Bhagavad Gita. So even in high court also, this is what the practice is. But in Western thoughts, it is cerebral practice. So if you look into the quotation by Aristotle, at his best, man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst. This is what the belief by Western people. So this is how the justice would be in the East and Western parts. And if we see the cultural factors and all, we have a concept of individualism and collectivism. Um, that is Hofstede's cultural dimensions, that's there. Of course, that concept is new to all. I don't want to get into that much. So by Hofstede, there was 5 cultural dimensions was delivered. This individualism and collectivism is one of them. What does it mean, individualism and collectivism? We all know, as Eastern people, we always believe on the collectivism. Western people believe on the individualism. Till then, with this lecture, you might have come to know. So what is collectivism? Here, a human being is an integral part of the universe and the society. People are fundamentally connected. Duty towards all others is very important matter. That is the meaning of collectivism. So collectivism is very stronger when it comes to individualism in many aspects. But in Western parts, they do believe in the individualism, which means human being has an individualistic nature, and he or she is an independent part of the university or society. That means as individual, whatever the actions performed by a person, so that is the reciprocation of his future justice, whatever it may be. That is the individualism. That is what the Western people always believe in.